Language learning or Sudoku. So why am I putting those two things together? I'm going to explain. I have an excellent tutor for Persian, and every session, for say the last 30 minutes of our class, she prepares questions. Interesting questions. Questions about life, questions about philosophy, questions about current events. And so it forces me to try and organize my thoughts and express thoughts in Persian on subjects that are usually quite interesting. I don't have to think them up myself. I have to answer her questions. So she asked me, is it a good thing that we are in the information age? So I can't remember what I said, but of course, one of the results of the information age is that I'm learning Persian and that I'm connecting with a native speaker of Persian via the internet. And I can source podcasts and other material which I can learn the language from. And this is true not only of Persian, obviously, it's true of all the many languages that people might want to learn. So to that extent, obviously, the information age is a good thing if we use it and take advantage of the good things that are there. We also hear of people who are lonely because of the information age, because they spend so much time scanning through their Instagram account and they have less opportunity for genuine human interaction. We know that there's a lot of misinformation. From my own experience, I know that AI is very often wrong. We need to be very careful. We have to double check whatever information we get, not just from AI. We have to find sources that are credible and stay with those. So there's a number of things that we have to do to make the information age work for us. And of course, that made me think that here I am at age 80, still engaged with learning languages, which I enjoy, and it gives me a lot, and it's something that I've done for most of my life. And I know that when my uncle was 85, who lived in Sweden, he spent a lot of time playing solitaire. And of course, there are a lot of people who do Sudoku, which is a form of activity for the brain. So I did some research on the internet, and of course, language learning is far superior to these because of the different parts, the more sort of holistic engagement of the brain in so many different parts of the brain. And I leave it to you to do your own research on this, but language learning is very much superior when it comes to maintaining your cognitive abilities. But a big reason is because of the connections. Sudoku, it's the person who's doing the Sudoku puzzle engaging with the puzzle and having to think things through. But in language learning, we are connecting in so many ways. First of all, we connect to a new language. We discover a new language. We connect to the language. We connect to the sounds. We make connections between words that we know in other languages and the words of the new language. We connect to content in that language, which we then have to go and find in bookstores or on the internet or elsewhere. We connect to new places. We might travel to those places. We connect to history. We connect to writers or songs in different languages. So we're making so many valuable connections through the activity of learning languages. We connect to our memories of maybe, say, in my case, when I started Greek, I did the mini stories. So now I go back to the mini stories and I remember when I first did them. I remember where I was, what I was doing. I remember where I was when I was listening to a certain audiobook in Russian or Spanish. We connect to old friends in terms of rediscovering structures in the language that we had forgotten, and we find them again. And of course, the second time or third time we come across them and hear them and read them, we reinforce our grasp of these vocabulary items or grammatical structures. So all of these things are creating connections, without even talking about the neurons that are connecting, the synapses that are being created, the both gray matter and white matter that we are reinforcing in our brains. And language learning needn't be a solitary activity. I have gone to meetups like Mundo Lingo, which operates in various cities in the world. I've gone to polyglot conferences. I engage with people through my YouTube channel where we talk about language learning. Here at LingQ, I can connect to other people at LingQ who are studying the same languages as I am. I can connect via the different streaks that I'm engaged in or comparing my statistics with other learners that are studying the same language. But right now at LingQ, we have this cup of languages where we are formed into teams based on the languages that we're learning. And we try to be as active as we can be, listening, reading, saving links. All of these activities are counted as coins. And the more coins we generate ourselves, these coins are then added up to the total activity level of the language team that we're on. So I'm in Arabic, and I'm hoping that the Arabic team does well in competition with, teams that are studying Spanish. There's even, I see, a Latin group. So that's another example of how language learning helps us connect with others. All of these connections activate sort of our capacity for empathy, the satisfaction that this gives us. So to my mind, it's superior to Sudoku, but it's something that we develop throughout our lives. And many of you will end up in your 70s and 80s, and you'll be wanting to maintain, a certain level of activity in your brain, plasticity of the neurons. And so when we build up those habits of language learning when we are younger, we carry them over into our old age, and we continue to discover new people, new languages, new countries, and make new connections. So there's no question in my mind that as an activity to take into old age to maintain the vitality and the effectiveness of your brains, who knows, maybe I'm less effective than I was, that by far the best activity is language learning. And there's significant research that shows that this is indeed the case when compared to puzzles or even playing bridge, or not to mention solitaire, which is more limited, but bridge, which has a sort of sense of connecting with other people. All of these things can help us maintain a lively interest in things around us so that we can take advantage of the information age, which I think I do. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.